Hello. And today we'll be playing By Your Hands. This update just came out yesterday, and this will begin day 4 for Kamil. Hello. Today we'll be playing By Your Hands. This update just came out yesterday. We're going to start day 4 for Kamil. Once again, I found myself in that steamy, humid room with all of those other males, undressing ourselves, pulling on our pairs and practice uniforms. Once again, I was tempted to take a few peeks at my teammates. Unfortunately, though, I didn't have much time to spare. I could feel it in the air, that faint buzzing tingle of being in a hurry. Coach was waiting on us, after all. More than anything else, I didn't want to end up lagging behind my first day as part of the varsity squad. So I kept my eyes on the inside of my locker while taking off my shirt, pants, and underwear, while grabbing my cup and a clean jockstrap, while pulling on the ladder, then getting the former situated and secure. Just doing what I needed to do before getting out on the field. Keeping my thoughts from wandering. Keeping myself focused on, hey, I did not nearly jump right out of my scales at the voice calling out from behind me, but as I turned around, I did hold my wadded up practice pants over my groin. Oh, hey. The wolf finally broke off our impromptu staring contest, huffing as he scratched behind one of his drooping ears. So, you're the new halfback, huh? Yeah, I am. He nodded. Then after a long moment of furrowed brow concentration, he perked his ears up and gave me a pat on the shoulder. Congrats on joining the team. I flinched in response at the gesture. Thanks. Another pat, and then he dropped his hand back to the side. Listen, I'm sorry for how I've been acting. I've been all fucked up since Tuesday. I grabbed rumble in his throat, but I could tell from the way his gaze darted away that it wasn't directed at me. Don't worry about it. I get it, man. And I'm sorry about, Tucker. Was this a moment? It almost sounded like he was swallowing down a wine. Thanks. So, yeah. Tucker put his heart and soul into the team. So since you're on it now, you think we could start over? Open my mouth, set up, glance away, over at Kamil, and then back to the wolf. Sure, okay. After shifting from foot to foot, flicking his tail and grunting, he set the hand out towards me. Hey, I'm Wyatt, the team center. Good to meet you, man. His grin was wide, his ears were perked up high, his tail was wagging behind him. At least I swud. He ran out while shaking his hand. That was a polite thing to do when meeting new people, right? I'm Rex, the new halfback. Good to meet you. The wolf nodded in return, and we both pulled back. We're all gonna be counting on you, newbie, so let's get out there and crush it, yeah? Yeah, alright. Well, that's all I wanted to say. So, that seemed to be the limit of his tolerance for the awkward atmosphere. With another strange smile, Wyatt turned on his heel and retreated back to his own locker. Well, that was something. I heard shuffling off to my right side and turned to find Kamil sidling up next to me. Hey, so how'd it go with Wyatt? Better than expected, considering how he's been acting over the past couple of days. Yeah. I mean, he's on the team, so, gotta work together so we can all be Successful, right? Mm-hmm. As I took my practice pants to smooth them back out, a thought occurred to me. One of my brows perked upwards as I turned to stare at the crocodile. Hey, Kamil, you didn't have anything to do with. A jerk of my head in the direction of Wyatt had gone. That, did you? You were getting together with Wyatt during practice the day before. Him trying to bring the wolf in on his plans to work out with the guys that morning. The pieces were starting to line up. Kamil, however, let out a strained, awkward, self-conscious laugh and shook his head. Ooh, me? I don't know what you're talking about, man. Yeah, sure, whatever you say. After shooting him one last playful half smile, I bent over to start pulling my pants on one leg, then the other, grunting and hopping a bit as I tried to jerk them up over my thigh pads. Anyway, I should leave you to it. Gotta head out on the field sometime today, right? Right, I'll see you out there, man. He nodded, turned and trotted back over to his locker to resume changing into his own practice uniform. And I'm not gonna lie, I couldn't stop my eyes from wandering downwards as I watched him go. But he was right. I had plenty of time for that later on. So I pulled on my practice jersey, grabbed my helmet and mouthguard, and joined the others heading out to the field. Once again, Coach had us warm up for a while before starting half of us doing splits while the others practiced tossing and catching with one another. This time Kamil sought me out to partner up. And of course I was eager to spend some time just throwing the ball back and forth with him. It was fun and a good way to practice my hand-eye coordination for what he told me I definitely needed. They were all lined up for a team stretch before Coach and Liam started putting us through our paces, drilling us on our movement, our tackling, and our tossing, making us run through a few plays against the defense team. All of us getting hot and sweaty, feeling our blood pumping, our limbs burning, the mingled soreness and satisfaction of exertion setting in as the time passed. Just like the day before, Coach had us all cool down together, then sent us back to the locker room with a few last words of praise for our efforts and some admonishment for the team members who'd been caught slacking. And like the day before, however, I was able to join the group as we all made our way over. I was able to enjoy the show. Man, Coach really busted our ass this year, huh? Just need to show some more hustle, man. The carnival yelped and straightened up when Reggie gave his wheel a sharp rigging smack right in the middle of him, bending over to push his pants down. Damn it, Reg. He strutted at the laughing panda. Go get your eyes checked. I'm not Kamil. Hey, better you than me, man. Oh, don't you guys worry. I got plenty to go around for everyone who can't move their asses in the field. You want to talk? An evil idea seemed to strike the carnival while he was pulling his towel out of his locker. You know, you should wash your bag. One of these days you're gonna get a taste of your own medicine. He twirled the length of cloth into an impromptu whip, then began lashing at Reggie with it. The panda continued to laugh and strip out of his practice gear even as he dodged and ducked away. Kamil and Gary watched, both of them pulling off their practice jerseys. Damn, maybe I should have gone to work out with y'all all this morning after all. He reached over to knock a fist against one of the crocodile's large firm pecs. Maybe then I could get some tits as stat as yours. First of all, don't call them tits. Second of all, that's what happens when you put in the work instead of flaking off. He reached over to tweak one of the griffin's dark, plump nipples. Gary let out a half shriek, half yowl, while darting back, then looked at his chest with a guffaw. Kadir and Reggie both looked over, their attention drawn by the noise. They shared a glance with one another. His brother as well, wild and scheming and evil. It's like someone else around here could use a taste of his own medicine. How was he? Just like it, Kadir. Don't even think about it. The crocodile covered his chest with both arms while backing away. The carnivore and panda both began to approach. Chuckling, giving their prey impish grins, reaching past Kamil's protective barrier to grab at his chest and squeeze. Gary's right, you know? You do got a nice pair of big, fat tits, man. Bazongas, even. Cut it the fuck out, guys. He groaned to squirm, and deep red blood began showing through the fur on his face as he gave the pair a scowl, but he didn't move to pull away. Sorry, man, can't blame us for taking advantage of your weak spot, can you? No, I guess I can't. All of a sudden, Kamil's face split into an evil smile of his own. As he had tried to block the other male's reaching hands, his own had dug deep into the hollows under his arms. It seemed the time had finally come for the crocodile's counterattack. He took his fingers free of his armpits and shoved them under both the panda's and the carnivore's nose. The stark grunts and groans of disgust, the pair reeled backward, batting the offending digits away. Dude, fucking nasty, man. I'm gonna be smelling that for the rest of the day. Hey, you can't blame me for taking advantage of your weak spots, can you? Stop screwing around. Everyone in the locker room jumped to attention at the wore-out command. You're in here to sour and change, not act like a gaggle of idiot children. Yeast, lighten up. We're just having some fun. I'll lighten up when you grow up. This is college, not a goddamn kindergarten, so kindly act your age. Or do I need to take the matter of locker room etiquette up with the coach? That's what I thought. Loudon then turned his glare upon Kamil, who ducked his head and stared at the floor. I expected far better from you. Don't fool around with Seed. Still snarling, still sculling, still lashing his tail, the lion started off into the sours. Gone before I could even think of speaking up. He's right. Let's just, The carnivore turned to toss his practice jersey into his locker, still scrubbing at his nostrils with the back of his hand. Yeah. The crocodile wrapped his towel around his waist, slipped his jog off, and thrust out towards the sours as well. Man, what the fuck crawled up his ass and died? I don't know, but I ain't gonna be the one to try pulling out the stick he's got in there with it. The panda continued to pout and mutter to himself. The griffin, meanwhile, scuffled over the toss of his discarded clothes and passed to his locker. Hey, Gary? He glanced my way, perking the corners of his beak upwards. Yeah? What's up? I don't want to sound real or anything, but do you guys do stuff like... He gestured towards the row of lockers where he and the others had just put on that display. That, a lot. Oh yeah, all the time. Ain't weird at all. Just bros being bros, you know? Yeah. No different from Kamil, Connor, and I messing around with each other. Though the three of us had never taken it that far or done it while undressing. Were you interested in joining the fun? I turned my head, hoping that my interest wasn't too noticeable. He confided and patted me on the shoulder. Relax, man, I'm just joshing you. Besides, it looks like Leon's determined to crack down on snagging, so... It's like practice really got the old testosterone pumping, huh? Huh? I glanced over, confused, followed the griffin's gaze downward, concerned. Golden turned away embarrassed. I might have been enjoying the show a bit too much. Hey, yeah, all that running around really got the testosterone pumping. Ain't no worries at all, man. I know that all too well on my own self. Another laugh, another pat on my shoulder, a soft rumble in my chest. The griffin's presence, his proximity, his nudity, his bit of spicy male scent in my nose was helping my not so little problem. Damn, do, where in the Sam Hill do you even hire a piece that big? Oh man, part of me really wanted to give the Griffin a better look. But another part, the one that wasn't thinking with my lower head, didn't want to press my luck too far. So I lay sweat and wrapped my towel around my waist, hoping that would make it less noticeable until it went away. Reptile, so man considered me jealous. He slung his own towel over his shoulder. Now, let's get all sour before things get too weird, yeah? I posted heat across my snout and between my legs when he gave me a small teaser smirk. Yeah, let's. Gary Landon followed after the Griffin finished undressing. We quickly parted ways to go look for available showerheads. The hot water washed away the sweat and fatigue of another day of practice, as well as the pheromones I was probably putting out, giving me at least one plausible deniability for my not-so-little problem. Later, after I finished and got dressed, I met up with Kamil outside the locker room. Rex, are you doing anything this evening? He would be in much better spirits, but I just shook my head while I gave him a smile. Not really. Do you want to rock home together again, or well, Gary and Yusuf wanted to hang out with me and some of the other guys for a bit, make up for this morning being at bus and all that, so we're all heading downtown to grab some dinner. That's sweet. You want to come along? Spend another night in my room, either doing homework or occupying myself on the computer or continuing my socialization with my new teammates. Your choice was obvious. Sure, where are we going? Khadijah's grill. It's this hole in a wild place that Yusuf really likes. Oh, but they do carnivore dishes too, so don't worry about that. Alright, that sounds good to me. Great. And, listen. He pulled me over to the side, set a hand on my shoulder, leaning close to peer right into my eyes, even as his ears and tail flipped. I kind of wanted to invite Wyatt along too. You know he's been having a rough time. I think getting off campus might be good for him. Would you be cool with that? We had agreed to try starting things over earlier, so if Kamil wanted him to tag along, it could be a good opportunity to get to know Wyatt better without Tugger around. A team-building exercise, as the Cargadon had put it. Great, I'll go find him, then. We all agreed to meet over at the main gate, so I'll see you there. Yep, see you there. We parted ways, Kamil giving me a pat on the back and me giving him a brief wave. I made my way out of the athletic complex across the road and then down the sidewalk toward the main campus gate. Gary, Di, and Reggie were already there when I arrived. I was greeted with nods and smiles from the trio, and a hearty smack on the back from Reggie when I told them Kamil had invited me along. We all settled in to continue waiting for the Cargadon, as well as a few other guys Gary had invited. The Griffin resumed chatting with the panda, while the dragon pulled out his phone to play around with it. And as for me, I didn't have to be such a prick about it. Yeah, about jumped right out of my feathers when he yelled like that. Are you guys talking about Liam? Yeah. You saw what happened, I guess. Got a hard not to. The panda rubbed and scratched at the back of his head. I don't get it. He never had a problem with us messing around when Tucker was team captain. To be fair, he also pretty much just kept his mouth shut in general. I know I'm worried about what the hell's gotten into him since he got voted team captain. Yusuf made his way over to join us around that time, followed by Kamil and Wyatt. Alright, are we ready? Are we about ready to head out? Almost. Now we're just... Hey, wait up. The carnival ran up to us, panting, needing a moment to catch his breath. Sorry, Penny wanted me to run to the store and grab some stuff she needed. Stuff? Yeah, lady business. Anyway, are we ready to go? Yep. Lead the way, Yusuf. We all set off down the sidewalk together. From time to time, one of us would strike up some small talk, making a comment about a storefront we passed or about the weather or whatever else was on our minds. Kadir seemed interested to learn more about Khadija's grill. It was prodding Yusuf for more information what kind of restaurant it was, how busy they were on the weekends, what undervoid dishes they had. Time and time again, Kamil would step up to translate the yak's grunted out answers. Wyatt spoke up whenever someone directed a comment towards him or asked him a question, but for the most part the wolf stayed quiet. Lost in thought, maybe. When we reached our destination, Yusuf led us inside. And from there, we were led to a table over by one of the windows. Yeah, space is kind of tight, huh? Is that the menu up there? Let's see. Oh, they have shawarma. Sheila just told me that from the start. Need help picking something? Think I can make some good recommendations if I'm not, Rex, hello? Huh? He turned my attention from the nearby walls to the crocodile. You okay? Yeah, I just, where's the hole? Hole? What hole? In the wall. Did you say that? Wyatt turned to peer over at the wall as well, his eyes searching over the rough texture, green painted expanse. Oh, that's not what I meant. Don't worry about it, man. He reached over to ruffle a hand over the top of my head. When Wyatt looked over, tilting his head and flicking an ear in confusion, Kamil gave him a reassuring, if somewhat awkward smile. Eventually, we all made our way to the counter to order. I guess that was the hole in the wall, then sat down to wait for our food to arrive. So guys, since we are here in Seattle, I kind of thought we should talk a bit about our team captain. What about him? He's acting like a prick. Yeah, what Yusuf said. Some of us shifted in our seats. Some of us looked down the table or over towards the counter out the windows. I looked at Kamil, catching the crocodile's eye. Even the others were noticing how much more antagonistic the other was being. He's been really high-strung ever since he took over. Yeah, I think we all have been. Yeah, our whole vibe has been pretty off. I blinked, then took another look at the other males around the table. Downcast eyes, pursed lips, fingers tapping nervously or picking at their clothing. But listen, this is Liam we're talking about. He's always been the brains of this operation, even back when Tucker was captain. Keeping the JVs online, getting things coordinated with coach, cleaning up the mess whenever anyone fucked up. He always took care of things behind the scenes, barely even spoken unless spoken to, and always followed Tucker's lead out in public. Now that Tucker's gone, he's a team captain. He's stepping up to keep everything running smoothly. It's a pretty big jump. He's probably feeling the pressure from Tucker's loss more than any of us, since he's the one who's having to fill Tucker's shoes. So he might be going overboard a little, but hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Wyatt. The wolf's ear flicked. He opened his mouth, closed it, huffed, and then sighed. He's just handling things the way Tucker would. Buddy, you know that's a heaping pile of bulls. Yusuf snorted. You know what I mean. Dai kinda does have a point, Gary. But if he wants to be a hard ass, that's all well and good. But if he wants to keep things running smoothly, he's gonna need to not be a prick, like Yusuf said. He's on the team captain because you guys chose him, right? Tension gathering between my shoulders when everyone looked over to me. Deep breath in, slow breath out. I mean, yeah. So if he's not doing a good job, can't you guys do something about it? It doesn't really work that way. And why not? The Griffin nodded in my direction. New kid's right. We picked Liam because he's the best fit for the job, but if he ain't doing that job proper, then we should be able to speak up about it, right? I mean, Tucker could get pretty intense too, but he was a fucking cattle driver. No offense, Yusuf. The dad crossed his arms and frowned, but didn't say anything. The panda cleared his throat, loud and harsh, then looked to Kamil with a tight-lipped smile. And anyways, you and Wyatt were the closest to him. I mean, Tucker could get pretty intense too, but he was a fucking cattle driver. No offense, Yusuf. The yak crossed his arms and frowned, but didn't say anything. The panda cleared his throat, loud and harsh, then looked to Kamil with a tight-lipped smile. And anyway, you and Wyatt were the closest to them both. So can't you, talk to him, just to tell him to chill out and stop being as much of a hard ass? Wyatt's ear flipped again. He too had crossed his arms and was staring out the window. Brow furrowed and jaw clenched tight, like he wanted to avoid the conversation entirely. Not everyone was looking at the crocodile. Kamil shifted in his seat, then lifted a hand to rub at his snout, kneading the bridge of it white in the corners of his eyes. I don't know. To be honest, I'm really not sure he listened to me. Dottie took in a deep breath, then let it out in a heavy sigh. Alright then, if you guys think it's that big of a deal, then I'll talk to him. As soon as the dragon spoke up, Kamil's shoulders dropped and grew loose. His one ear stopped its flicking, and both of them stood up straighter. You're right about one thing, I guess. We can't exactly work as a team if our captain keeps biting our heads off. I can tag along if you want. 2 of us might convince him better than just one. So it sounds like a plan. And that was that. The ensuing silence didn't have too much of a chance to linger. Our plates started arriving, and we started digging in, enjoying the richly seasoned meat or veggies or a mix of both, as the case may be, munching, mumbling about how good it was, putting our focus on meals and not what we just been discussing. Flaffle. Couldn't help but glance up at the high-pitched squealing. Another group had just made their way in. The noise was coming from a very young creature, an otter wearing a strange skull-headed costume, perched on the shoulders of a donkey who looked a few years older than Kamil. Said donkey winced through his mouth with every tug on the ears from his bouncing, wiggling passenger. The owl accompanying the younger male and toddler looked over the interior of the restaurant, his gaze passing over our group in vague acknowledgement. Thank goodness they aren't busy. There should be plenty of time to get to the theater if we grab something to go. Could even just call that dinner if you like. Sure, that sounds good to me. Now, where is it our little prince wants again? I want a falafel. That sounds yummy. Think I'll have the falafel too. What do we say when we want to ask for something? Please. Alright, I'll get it ordered. Yay! Doctor giggled in delight as the owl ruffled the hood of his costume, right between the little horns. With a quiet laugh of his own, the donkey took the opportunity to lean in close, brushing his nose and lips against the older male's beak. Thanks, love. When the owl made his way to the counter, the donkey carried his little passenger over to the side and stood near an empty table to wait. Dodger's attention was immediately captivated by the TV on the wall. The donkey's attention wandered all over the room. looking at this or that sign or poster through the front windows towards the street, over to us with a vague smile of acknowledgement, then to some corner of the restaurant or other. It wasn't like I was staring, but I couldn't help looking up from my plate and over at him every so often, especially when his companion joined him, one feathered arm wrapping around the younger male's waist. A few minutes later, the owl was called back over to pick up a plastic takeout bag. Then the trio made their way out, leaving more joyful cries of "Lawful" in their wake. I was still staring at the restaurant's door, a deep frown on his face. He inhaled, dropped his gaze to the plate, let out a gusty sigh while pushing his half-eaten falafel away. He still looked over with a scowl and a soft snort. "Don't even start, man." "What?" I didn't even say anything. "I could see on your face you were thinking it." "Guys, please don't do this right now." "Is something wrong?" I regretted the words as soon as they were out of my mouth. Kamil tried to suss me. Yusuf flicked his ears and stabbed his fork into his food, then brought it up so he could chomp down on his mouthful. Dai heaved out another sigh and crossed his arms, while the others shifted in their seats and avoided looking at any one of us. Not everything is fine. What could ever be wrong with two guys slobbering all over each other while they got a kid between them, huh? That sits perfectly normal. And there he is. Hey, since someone can apparently read my thoughts, I might as well just come out and say it, right? It's just a kiss, dude. You don't need to go weeding into it like that. Well, excuse me for not wanting to see that kid grow up into one of those freaks who parade down the street butt-ass naked during Pride. Clearly I'm the problem here. Bones and sighs, Kamil knitted the bridge of his snout. Gary furrowed his brow and frowned. Dai, please tell me you ain't still listening to that Laws of Nature Guys podcast. I just think he makes some good points. Seriously? Dude, you know he's fucking nutcase, right? Well, come on, man. Back me up here. He was looking over at Wyatt. The wolf glanced over like he had only just realized we were all still there. Then, with a shrug and a flick of his ear, he resumed eating. Not like it's any of my business as long as they keep me out of it. With a growl of frustration, Dai slid further down to his seat to soak. Fine, whatever. I'll just shut up for now. I mean, I don't really agree, but I can see where he's coming from. Dai, I mean, not, you know. The crocodile ducked his head, ears flicking madly as we all looked over at him. Like, do you guys even see the pics that were posted from that parade this summer? There were a bunch of gay guys just going around completely naked. It's nice that they can get together and be in public and all that, but they don't have to go that far with it, do they? And I'm not saying those two are like that, or that they'll make their kid grow up to be like that, but you have to admit there are a lot of gay guys who make sex their whole personality. Just don't see why anyone would want their kid to turn out like that, considering what their lifestyle ends up being like. Every word tightened and clenching on my jaw. My stomach churned, and I had to push my plate away as well. I couldn't stop thinking about that morning a few days before, when Connor had come out to me. What he told me about Kamil and the frat boy clique of his. It was good to hear them pushing back against Dai, against what Dai had said, or at least not agree with him, but I wouldn't believe Kamil would think that way too. If I told him about my feelings, he wouldn't think I was like that, would he? Yusuf leaned forward over the table. Even with his hair fur hanging over his eyes, I could feel the glare he was shooting at the crocodile, intense enough to make me squirm even without it being directed my way. First of all, that parade was a private, adults-only event. It's not their fault pictures of it got posted out of context to make all queer people look bad. And second, all they're doing is expressing themselves and their pride in who they are. Something straight people have been doing for a long time, but nobody ever had a problem with that, since it's normal. He turned to snort in Dolly's general direction. Yeah, and I do get that, but I just... A deep breath in as, once more, I threw myself into the middle of the conversation. Both Kamil and Dolly jerked upright at that. What do you mean by that? You said it yourself, right? None of us has anything to others haven't seen loads of times. So if your problem is with guys being naked, then what's the difference between that and what you were talking about? Once again, Kamil started knitting between my eyes. The locker room's one thing, but out in public is way different. Private event. Yusuf and Rex got a point. Private adults only. Ain't no one seen anything they didn't sign up to see. Sounds pretty dang similar to me. Maybe, but you won't see a bunch of naked guys humping each other in the locker room, will you? A brief spark of heat across my snout, and the mental image I covered the clearing of my throat for a tiny laugh for the sake of my head. Hey Gary, what was it you said earlier about bros being bros? When he realized what I was talking about, the griffin let out a guffaw. Now that's a good point. He looked to the other males present, an impish glint in his eye. Raise your hand if you can honestly say you ain't never gotten handsy in the locker room. White raised his hand. He was the only one to do so. When he realized that fact, he sank down into his seat, embarrassed. You see? Oh, come on. There's a world difference between just messing around for fun and getting off to it. It's only as weird as you make it, right? I get what you're saying, Gary, and I do agree, kinda, but I don't know. You're the biggest offender out of all of us, mister. I got plenty for everyone who ain't moving their asses. I drawn out groan of frustration for Kamil. Okay, yes, sir, I guess you're right. But it's just like Wyatt said, it's good that they can express themselves, it's great, good for them. But when they, around other people, Dolly took that opportunity to speak up again. Was said to be proud about making others take part in their sexuality. Even as he trailed off into another weak groan, Kamil nodded in agreement. You know what? You're absolutely right. The constable drew himself up, setting his hands flat on the table, and looked at both Dolly and Kamil in turn. Thinking back to all those times I brought Penny over to the house, all those times she and I would kiss and cuddle on the couch, and the fact that I've even slept with her while she was staying the night. He took a deep breath, let out a heavy, remorseful sigh. I'm so sorry for making you take part in our sexuality like that. If there's anything we can do to make it up to you, anything at all, please don't hesitate to ask. The dragon huffed, muttered, and finally let out a sigh of his own. Fine, I get it already. I'm sorry, Yusuf. The yak still kept his arms crossed, still frowned at the dragon and crocodile, but it looked like he was willing to accept the apology. Kamil kept his head down, saying, his brow furrowed, his flat front teeth digging into his bottom lip. When no one else was looking, I leaned over and bumped him with my shoulder, hoping to at least give him some reassurance. His teeth dug in harder as he looked away, but after a long and prickly moment, he bumped my shoulder in return. We'd all finished our dinner, and it seemed that had finished off the conversations as well. Dolly said that he had somewhere to be while standing up and moving to discard his dishes. Gary, Reggie, and Kadir did the same. With a wave and a few muttered words, Wyatt headed out. Apparently he had a tutoring session he had to go to. I wanted to walk back to the lab complex with Kamil to see if he and I could talk some more, but it seemed that Yusuf had the same idea. The crocodile sent me off with a small apologetic smile and promised to see me tomorrow. He texted me the details for the planned morning workout session, where and when he wanted to meet up later that evening. And so we all went our separate ways. That had been an awkward conversation. Pretty difficult too, but a good one to have, all things considered. It was good to know where everyone on the team stood with each other, with Kamil, with gay people. I shook my head and started walking, putting that out of my mind, taking a deep breath in, blowing a slow, even breath out. Tomorrow, working out with Kamil. Maybe having others from the team tagging along as well. Maybe not die, considering. Even if there were a few lingering worries continuing to nip at the back of my mind, I still had a lot to look forward to. A deep breath in, slow and steady, as I glared at the thing which had ruined my good mood. I was sitting on my desk in my room, looking almost innocent, familiar enough so to only draw a heaved out sigh from deep within me. Embarrassing, especially after I glanced over the scribbled note stuck to the brown paper bag next to it. Near a first bio sample from tests I'll be running overnight. Please provide a hand over when I arrive this evening. Dr. A. I crumpled up the note and tossed it in the trash, then took a look at the specimen cup to see what kind of sample the researchers needed. And there it was, plain as day on the label. Rex A. Ejaculate sample 18B. Another sigh. I understood why they would need something like that to ensure endocrine and gonad health, and sperm viability, and to track general development and well-being. I heard it all before over the years, but I never heard anything about Connor or Kamil having to ejaculate into a cup for the researchers to run tests on. Well, complaining wouldn't get it over and done with. I carried the specimen cup over to the bed, stood down, and got myself comfortable for what I was about to do. Didn't take too long to get myself going, especially while thinking about Kamil. On the floor, just hanging out with me, his warm eyes and his bright smile, and his comforting, familiar presence. In the locker room, peeling off his sweat-soaked shirt and pants and jockstrap. In the shower, his hunky body on the full display while he scrubbed himself under the steamy water. Every appearance of him begging to be touched, appreciated, explored, claimed. Once the specimen cup was filled, I put the lid back on and sealed it. Then I dropped it into the brown paper bag for discretion's sake. I waited to hand over to Dr. Abraham later on. He sniffed the air, grunted, rubbed a hand over the bridge of my warm, stinging snout. I definitely have to take a shower after all that, both to wash off the sweat of the day and to get rid of all those pheromones pouring off of me. As I stepped into the bathroom, my thoughts turned to how I spend the evening, what I should have for dinner, what I should occupy myself with until Dr. Abraham arrived. Maybe some studying, some homework could always get started on reading Lucas's essay for that freshman experience assignment, or checking if Kamil had texted me about our meetup in the morning, and if I had some spare clothes to work out on. Another grunt as I turned the shower on. Had plenty of time to think it over under the hot, steamy, refreshing water. Hello. This is a puppet built that adds day 4 to Kamil's route. Stuff happened. Wyatt tried to bury the hatchet. Titties, Leon's being a little prick, dying Kamil came out as homophobic and you jerked off. Repetitive day. So how did you enjoy this day? Using my ears. Since you enjoyed this game so much, I love it. If you rate this game on Itch.io for us, just click on just click on the intro button in the top right corner and rate the game. Has your opinion of Kamil changed? I would say I dislike him more, but my opinion has changed a little bit, but, I'll admit, I totally understand why. Give yourself a pat on the back for making the crocodile satisfying. Keep this up and you'll be sure to have a bright future with him. You can become a patron by clicking on the button above and get access to the first part of Kamil's Day 5 as well. As for the higher tiers, work in progress for the game's art, a guide for the game, and commentary provided by me. This build I thought was going to be easy to develop, but then I decided to finish all the unfinished assets and finish all the unfinished assets and up rushing last minute. It's unfortunate things end up like this, but the important thing is that I got all the assets I wanted into the game, and I can now focus on bigger stuff. I really don't have much to say. While there are some interesting plot and character bits, here it's mostly just Kamil and Rex working out and having fun. Aside from that, Kamil's Day 4 is similar to Brendan's Day 6, in that it will set the course for the rest of the route, and it will make people decide if they're here to stay with Kamil or not. You may not like what's revealed today, but hopefully you will appreciate what type of story Nemo and I are crafting. We'll survive somehow. Also, we have reached the 1-year milestone of By Your Hands. Thank you for everyone for allowing me and Nemo to be able to develop this game for this long. Without you guys, this game wouldn't have come as far as it has. I'm still looking for Farsi or Iranian people for feedback on Kamil's cultural stuff, so please contact me if you are either of those things. Anyways, I also want to show you a piece of fan art done by Lev. Here it is. You can follow Lev over here or here. If you have any fan art you want me to share on this game, please let me know either through itch.io, Discord, or whatever. That is everything. Thank you for sticking with me and have a good day. See you later. Alright, so yeah, it's a 1-year anniversary of By Your Hands. I started playing this game here on YouTube a year ago. This was around the same time I started this channel. So yeah, it's not just a year for By Your Hands, but it's also been almost a year since I started this channel. So yes, time flies. So we got to learn that Kamil and definitely Die are homophobic. And well, Die is he's the most homophobic there, but Kamil is pretty homophobic too. I mean, both of them don't like the sight of men dancing around naked in public, and they think that the son having that little auto boy having two dads will lead him to being wild and sexually, being sexually wild and being gay and dancing naked in the pride parade, So they don't like the fact that the child has two fathers. So Yusuf got very offended by Die and Kamil, and he supported the two fathers and their son, and that he says that it's okay for people who are gay to express themselves. So there's a big rift between Yusuf, and you got Yusuf on one side, and then you got Kamil and Dai on the other side. So and Wyatt seemed to not really have much of an opinion on that. He basically doesn't care as long as they don't impose that on others. So I think he's kind of like neutral on it. And Rex is kind of shocked to hear Kamil talk like that, not being in favor of gay people. And that made him concerned about what Kamil might think about him. And Connor going out with his other. I don't think they're going out with each other, but it's clear that Connor made it clear to Rex that he has feelings for him. So, and because Kamil, he's long-time friends with both of them. So, if Kamil were to find out that the two of them had feelings for each other, that would be something. Well, I don't know how Kamil would act, but I don't think he would necessarily be happy with it. But I don't know. I don't know. He'll be quite mad or uncomfortable about it, or maybe he might hesitantly decide to deal with it. But I don't know. And Liam is just, he's really being very harsh on them. I mean, even he does have a point. I mean, they were kind of acting kind of wild in there in the showers in the locker room, but he is really getting abrasive, and I don't think that's the way to be a captain. But again, maybe, I don't know. I mean, I guess, well, they seem to have a high opinion of Tucker, so I guess Tucker wasn't quite as abrasive as them has been to them. So I don't know, but now certainly he's trying to fill Tucker's shoes, and he's trying to establish proper etiquette for the team. So I mean, I think it's obvious that he's under a lot of pressure to succeed Tucker and keep the football team, just keep the football team running, just keep the football team running on a smooth operation, just making everything of the football team run smoothly. And I guess that's Lam's way of making that happen, being kind of tough and strict on his teammates. I mean, I don't like that he's being like that, because when we first met him, he seemed like a decent kind of guy. But to see this totally different behavior from him, all angry and just irate, this is kind of like not like him. He was just calm and quiet guy, when he first talked to Rex. And the other teammates said that he was the brains of the football team, even Tucker was the captain, and he never really talked he never really spoke unless somebody spoke to him. So okay, well, so that's all I have to say for now. My opinion of Kamil has changed a little bit. I mean, I wouldn't say I dislike him more, but I'm certainly like him a little bit less now, with him being homophobic. So Wyatt decided to apologize to Rex for the way he's been treating him. So I believe Kamil had Wyatt apologize to Rex. So I think a big part of the hostility he has towards Rex, maybe not hostility, but this the outburst he gave to Rex, and just the hostility is like due to him still coping over Tucker's death and who that person was that murdered him, because he really wants to get his hands on the person that murdered Tucker. So he's still dealing with Tucker's death. Seems like he's dealing with it the hardest in the team. So I'm happy that he decided to go above his pride and apologize to Rex. Decided to go above his pride and apologize to him for the way he's been treating him. And Rex accepted his apology, and both of them introduced each other, formally. Because they didn't really introduce each other back then. Wyatt was still a bully, so. But I'm happy that they did that, and they can focus on the football team. So that's all I have to say for now. Day 5 will be broken up into 2 updates, so part 1 of day 5 for Kamil will come next, and then afterwards will be part 2. So I guess part 1 will be public in January, and part 2 will be public in February. So that's what I'm guessing. So thank you all very much for watching. Bye.